so just back to the recap. So 2nd of March pre-trial hearing. Then on the 19th of March, the prosecution has to get the brief to the defence because they're going to look at this mental health. It might have changed their brief, and I don't know how. He's already got an agreed set of facts. Then they make their submissions to the magistrate by the 2nd of April, and according to Magistrate Bellew, the trial is going to be heard on the 23rd of April.
That's a snippet of a report I did on the prior court proceedings for our friend Mr. Ihsas KHAAAANNNN, who committed a terror attack on Wayne Greenhalg back in September 2016. That prior court case was in 22nd of November, so that's another 4 or 5 months later. They really dragged these things out. But here it is. When the March dates came and went, I thought this thing was over. But no, it's, as Justice Bellew said, the trial will be on the 23rd. He made that order, and here it is. Now, it's out there at Parramatta. It may be there. Last time they actually had it down as, court list number 1. We haven't got it ready to go. But look, the last time they had it out at Parramatta and they moved it into the city. So I'll keep an eye on that. It's not necessarily where it's going to be. But anyway, it's going to kick off. So just a quick recap on this. This had about 5 different hearings at Parramatta, and they were always waiting for more reports for this mental health assessment that they were going to do on him, until eventually, I think it was in July, Magistrate Stavardis said, look, this is going to go to trial here in Parramatta. It either goes to trial or a report about him being mentally unfit gets put to me, but this is going to go to trial if that doesn't happen. So he'd had enough. And there'd been a few magistrates that had gone through, and I think I mentioned before, when they saw this thing, they just thinking, what on earth? What got here? Because the other stuff's just straight, some guy bashed someone, or, some guy robbed a servo, or it's just straight up. This thing, they're like wondering where reports are. They're wondering why a lot of the prosecution brief wasn't done 6 months later. Like as I mentioned before, it's one guy, one perpetrator, one victim. That's pretty much it. A bit of hospital treatment. Likewise, they were, they were perplexed. So, my point is that this was already at Parramatta in local court and was going to go to trial, according to Mr. Stavardis back then. And then our prosecutor from Commonwealth prosecutor, he came up with some report and some request or authorisation for it to get transferred over to the Supreme Court. And I can remember after the magistrate, I mentioned it before, Stavardis had made the order, he said, I'll need that piece of paper. He really should have got it in the first place. But anyway, I pretty glad he got it. Anyway, it got transferred over to the Supreme Court because under the Supreme Court, only they can make a determination as to, and for treatment for somebody who is mentally ill. Only the Supreme Court can do it. The local courts can't do it. So it got moved over there for the reason of mental health. Now, that's what I thought. That's why I thought this was going to go. I thought, this is over. He's going to be deemed mentally ill. But I wonder why it's gone to trial now. I was having a discussion on Discord with our very learned friend, the highly esteemed Mr. Robbo Max, and we were going back and forth, and he's got some really sparked some good ideas on both sides. He's right up with all this sort of stuff and gives a lot of insights no one else comes up with. He's really good. But so just before we go any further, let's just from the outset, if you recall back to PK's videos, they're gone now, but if you happen to watch them at the time, the guy with the blue car and the blood and that, this thing is an absolute, in fact, a current affair had the show on and prime ministers getting involved, and they wouldn't tell you which hospital it was in, and there's just so many indicators that this was just an absolute load of bullshit hoax. That's exactly what it is. So make no mistake, and they're giving cars to witnesses. By the way, none of those witnesses ever, Ben Fordham was going to put them up for a bravery award, but of course, and if we're given a bravery award because they weren't actually brave, they were acting. They got a car though, Ford Everest. That's the top of the line. That's your big boy as far as a Ford SUV goes. And Wayne Greenhalg got all that money. They had fundraisers. Yeah, everyone made out. All made out with it. Got out of it pretty well with a few rewards there. But it was a hoax. There's just absolutely no way any of it stacks up for being... Oh, and in his house, the house that he was renting it, and it got bought in August 2016, and then was sold. And the event happened in September 2016, and then the house was then sold in February 2017. And I thought that was pretty amazing, because I'll do a video on that. I won't go too far into it right now, but this thing was a hoax. So why would they put something they could avoid going to trial and put it only as a mental health act? Why are they actually putting it to trial? Now, there's a couple of possibilities here. One is this Beelan character. Look, I thought he was in on the fix, like right from the beginning, because he's a bit of a celebrity judge. He deals with football players, and he gets his head on TV, and he's not your normal, back room kind of, head down, ass up, just do your job judge. He's a bit more flamboyant, which you get these personalities in these positions, as we saw that surgeon down in Burke. Remember, he's wearing a blue tie or something, on blue suit with a bow tie, just these higher profile sort of stooges, like that Neil deGrasse Tyson guy, supposed scientist. He's not a real scientist, doesn't carry on like what he does, dancing and carrying on. So that's what I thought this Bellew guy was. But yeah, he's one possibility is he's had a bit of a think about it and gone, what am I getting out of this? I like being a Supreme Court judge. I've got a lot of benefits. I'm, invited to important functions and occasions. I'm meeting all these people. I'm a real high flyer. Well, if I take this thing on, all those people in the know, they're going to look at me and go, yeah, well, we know what you did, and it could be on the outer, maybe. That's how it could work. It is decided. Well, I might force their hand, and maybe they haven't. Maybe they might be forcing that Commonwealth prosecutor to drop the case by going to trial. Maybe because he doesn't want anything to do with it. He says, look, I could make him a mental health case, but that doesn't look good on his on his watch, that it's gone to as a mental health case. So that could be the case. Might be forcing the hand of the prosecutor to drop the case, in which case, it would just fall apart just to save his reputation. That's one possibility. It could also be that they want to get a terror conviction, and this is what came up between me and Robbo Max, is that if ISIS, if they come to a plea deal that he's going to plead guilty, he has to still do it in court. So he turns up and pleads guilty. There's no need for any cross-examination of witnesses, which would be Sevi turning up in his Ford Everest, getting out, springing his step. You probably want another Ford Everest to do it. That might be the problem there. Yeah, I'll do it. It's going to cost you. Wait, Greenhalg. Well, that money's starting to run out. You might want another fundraiser for me. Look, that's all speculation. But look, what they can do that without any of them guys turning up the court, look, they really could it. Obviously, they couldn't. Robomax raised a good point. Like the defence would just say, that guy got a 60k Everest. Here's a video of it. We can't trust his evidence and have it thrown out. So they're not going to, certainly not going to, have any funny business with these guys, given it, and they'd have to lie under oath, and they wouldn't put them in a position where they'd have to lie. So what they could do is have a plea agreement, a plea bargain, where he just agrees to plead guilty. Then that way they get a guilty conviction. See, they've got plenty of terror events, but not too many, headlines. Terror suspect convicted. They want to get that headline out. That'd be headlines everywhere. So it could be that. We'll find that out, certainly, if that's what comes to fruition. And so it could be that. And then he gets moved to a remand centre, and then they determine that he's mentally unwell and put him into, without it going through the Supreme Court. They can just do that once it's in the system. I think once they're in their system, they can be put in the mentally ill health wing without going to court. Maybe they do have to, but definitely from a civilian going into the jail system, you definitely have to be mentally put there by the Supreme Court under the law. So, but maybe once you're in there, but look, it'll be hidden anyway. as far as they got the headline, terror suspect convicted, and they have ISIS back up there again. God, would they revisit this thing? Be funny if they did. Anyway, look, it's going to trial. Now, I going to do everything I can to get down there. I don't know whether it's in the city or Parramatta. Parramatta is easy to get to for me, but I've just got so much stuff on. But look, I'll try and get down there and follow this thing right through to the end. But again, it's still going though. I thought it was dead, so I'm sort of excited by that anyway. If it just had died, I've got a heap of videos I was going to put up and finish it up, but this is sort of kept it interesting, kept me interested, and it's still going. All right, that's it.